Hi Taurus, welcome to your July 2019 Angel Tarot card reading. I am using the Angel Tarot card deck. I'm also using the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins deck, and I'll be pulling a card, have pulled a card here for the Power Animal Oracle card deck. This one's a fairly new deck that I'm using, but I think it's been really interesting to kind of pull together and like an overarching view of what we think is happening for the month and what messages to convey. So I'm pretty excited about it. Just a quick reminder, these are general readings. Take what resonates, discard the rest, obviously. If you would like a personal reading from me, please go to my website, angelawakening.net, or follow the links in the description box below. I do have discounts, so feel free to take advantage of those. Okay, so as I was pulling cards, this top card came out, flipped over rather, and I saw it, and then I started to kind of get a feel for what was happening. So I'm going to move into that topic, and then what we're going to do is just kind of see if the angels want us to go to another topic or expand on that. I had been looking back at your messages for June and kind of figuring out how that ties in. So the first card we got here was the Lover's card. I'll just go ahead and pull this. And because it was the first card I pulled, because it turned over on its own, and because it is it's a major arcana card, it's probably the most love-centric card that we have in this deck. And typically when I get it, it's, love is on the mind, love is on the brain, and obviously that can be love in the romantic sense, but it can also be love in platonic relationships, friendships, family relationships, children, a partnership, a collaborator, somebody who's, supporting you, friendship. I mean, just love runs the gamut here. But in looking at your message for June, I found it interesting that this was the first card, and the message was more of, the real you, and being the real you. And I'm wondering if you all are struggling a little bit with that in a relationship, because the message here is also carefully weigh your decisions, and obviously intimate relationships. 6 is also the number of health and your day-to-day environment and how you maneuver and operate within the structure of your day-to-day. So it's possible that some of you are feeling maybe a little stifled still, maybe you've had some of those, challenging conversations, and you have had the opportunity to kind of, address some of the obstacles that you feel like you're having in this relationship or relationships, and you're not sure if you're still being seen or heard or valued. But I feel like there's still a need to continue on the communication journey, if you will. Continue to press for, honest, truthful communication with someone important in your life. And, your opportunity is still there to um, connect with trust, to build and develop on that trust. And it could be time to make some decisions, so okay, we will be able to continue to build on this trust, or we won't, and based on trust, we're going to have to make, a a choice. You just want to make sure that you are weighing all of your options carefully, that your future is really dependent on your smart, brave choices right now. And you're going to want to bring some balance to these decisions, either within a marriage or, like I said, a partnership, business, or otherwise. Archangel Raphael is also the patron of soulmates. So whatever this relationship is, it's very significant. It's life-changing, life-altering, and you want it to be life-affirming. You want it to be the kind of relationship that sustains you, that nurtures you, and you want to give that back to the other person or people. And Raphael can help you with those. So be sure and call on Archangel Raphael and ask for guidance when it comes to these relationships. And if you don't think that you've found that person, or that this person that you're dealing with is not that right person, ask Archangel Raphael to help bring that person to you. And be willing to, again, in some cases, see that maybe right now it's not romantic, but it is very significant in a friend, or it's very significant in a partner, or, in a family member, or disconnected from a family member for years, and now it's time to get back together. But the lessons you're going to learn and the opportunity to gain from having an appreciation of what it means to have the right people in your life is significant right now. And just don't overlook all those opportunities that a relationship can provide. 6 of Water. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. We got a 6 again, and a water card. And whenever I get this card, it's just highly emotional, very, very sentimental, very sensitive right now. I feel like you're much more sensitive than usual, because I don't know if some of these conversations in the recent past have gone the way that you'd hoped, and there could be a little bit of, all right, what am I supposed to do now? And maybe a little bit of oh, that was a bummer, that the conversation didn't go that great, and or maybe you've forgotten that those conversations didn't go very well, and you're kind of romanticizing this person from your past, from your immediate past, or maybe even someone from your past that you haven't seen in a while, and you're considering getting back together, and it's like, wait, do I really want to do that? Do I remember fully what all the challenges were, the obstacles were? This also has a element of your children. If you have children, or if there are children in your environment, if you have nieces or nephews or cousins or siblings, or even with friends and their children that you're close to, maybe in the community you provide a service to children, big brothers, big sisters, or to the Y, or to a court-appointed advocate of some kind. But wherever you're seeing like an injustice with children, I feel like this is really affecting you right now. It's causing you to be, in some cases, for some of you, I think, really upset. And so, again, I think communication is important. Whoever you need to talk to, whoever you need to address, whatever concerns you're seeing or sensing or know about, should be addressed. If you have children of your own, maybe try to go a little easier on them in terms of discipline, or in terms of, it's my house, my rules. If you see that in a spouse or a significant other, maybe have those difficult conversations where you say, we really need to dial this down a little bit. Because, the immediate environment for a child is going to have a major impact on, how they grow up, and their future abilities to cope, and all of that. So, yeah, I'm just getting the sense of just a lot of emotion for various relationships, different relationships, depending upon your unique situation. And how those relationships play out day to day is just wearing on you a little bit. So, fortunately or unfortunately for you, you're needing to be the constant communicator, always available for, the people in your life to open up to, the people in your life who know that they can come to you and count on you for support and advice. And if you're not seeing things change, then that can kind of wear on you, especially if it's somebody that you're dealing with that's in more of a authoritarian role. And, you're like, we've had this conversation how many times, and you keep going back to these old patterns and these old ways, and it's really affecting our family, or it's really affecting our, immediate environment, and it's wearing on you. It's causing you sadness. So I think addressing what some of that is honestly for yourself, and being prepared to, continue to have some of these old conversations, because the other thing that can happen is that if you're not really dealing with it, or you're kind of glossing it over, you could get triggered by new situations, new people, and new opportunities that bring you similar feelings or similar experiences. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having this experience again. I thought I had dealt with this. I thought this was, why am I dealing with this now from another person? And, this person, they could look like somebody that's familiar to your environment. They could have similar mannerisms or something like that, but just something might trigger or remind you. And you're like, gosh, I have to deal with this again. And it's because you haven't really dealt with the past relationship. You haven't really given that closure, found the, what was the meaning of that? What was the purpose of that? Or you haven't, the communication factor is still at play, and you're still trying to work through those challenges. Two of Earth. Too much going on at once. The need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. Okay, so another card around decisions. And yeah, so I think this is more about, bringing some practical solutions to some of your challenges. We know that you're emotional about it, but it's possible right now that you're trying to do too much, and the instability of it all is causing you some stress, and you're managing to keep things going, and kind of keep the status quo, but or, and you could be considering, doing something different, making a change. Um, this is just about staying open to some of the creative ideas that are coming to you now, the new perspectives that you may be getting. And because this is kind of a heavy energy right now, taking a deep breath and maybe looking for something more playful to help solve the challenges. Trying to find some ways to lighten up. And this can go back to the children in the Six of Water that I'm picking up, where, maybe spend some more time playing with your kids, or ask your kids what, or children in your life, hey, what do you think about this? What would be your optimal solution, if we could wave a magic wand? And you may not be able to do it. You may not be able to, do what they're asking. Or if there are no children in your life, and I know some people find this to be very, out there, but there is a belief that we have an inner child. So maybe spend some time asking your inner child, how can I bring what kind of playful solution can I find here? Because as I was saying, you may not be able to do it. You may not be able to complete it in the way that it's described to you from a third party, or the way that you, or from a direct relationship, or from the meditation that you're doing and the going within. But what's possible is you can find some kernels of, oh my gosh, I can't do all of that, but I can do one or two of those things. I can't. The solution, okay, well, we can't take a vacation right now, but we can take a day trip, or, we can take a long weekend, or so. I think that there's going to be opportunity, go to the museum, go to the park, go swimming, doing something in water could be very fun, and getting out into nature with the Earth card. And in some cases, just the two of you. So if you've got a one-on-one relationship that's significant, and you feel like you've already spent the time going inward and making your determination on what to do next, continue to consider sharing that with the other person, and maybe having those conversations in nature, having those conversations away from your immediate environment, if that's an office, or a building, or if you're self-employed, where you do your services, or if you're if it's a significant other in the home, getting out of the house to have a conversation instead of always at your kitchen table or something like that. Knight of Water, falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, an invitation to a social event. This is just, can we get any more emotional about this? So, yeah, in a lot of cases for you all, this is a romantic situation. And the romantic situation could just be affecting a lot of other relationships, a lot of other situations that you're in, and they're, it's running deep. And so the positive side of this is that you could be falling in love with somebody all over again, because you've had these hard discussions and conversations. And your appreciation for how they're handling it could absolutely be causing you to go, wow, I didn't expect them to have this positive of a response, and to be this willing to meet me halfway, but they did. And it's romantic. It's idealistic in some cases. I think you're both sensitive. Um, you're both enthusiastic about your opinions and your points of view, but I think that can really benefit you now, if you're willing to just take care to balance these emotions with the rest of what you need in order to make um, healthy decisions. Rest. You've been working hard. Take a nap and get some rest. Yeah, so, the emotional side has kind of worn you out. Trying to find your optimal decision has kind of worn you out. And, rest can come in a lot of different forms. For some people, when they rest, it's exercise. Some people, take naps. Some people want to take a bath. Some people, want recreation or entertainment. So whatever it is that works for you, just try to make sure it's on the positive side. Start to watch some of the possible negative energies that could be playing a role here. Um, Turning your phone off for an hour or two at night, deciding not to watch, a program that, maybe is entertaining, but it's got, a negative spin on it. So just start to monitor some of that and figure out some ways where you can, even some days where you could just, for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know if any of you have tried that before. I used to think that was a joke. I was like, there's no way a 20-minute nap is, that's crazy. I'd rather just not shut my eyes at all. Well, for me, I found out that 20 minutes actually refreshed me in a lot of cases. So, just figuring out what works for you, what helps you to rest, release, and decompress is going to be important. Consult an expert. More information is needed. Contact someone with expertise in this area. So it's possible that you could be getting to a point as well where your discussions haven't worked, or your discussions have worked up to a certain point, and now you're at a point where you're the two of you, or whatever group that you're in, if it's professional or personal, that you're really not able to go to the next level. I wouldn't say that you haven't been able to necessarily get to a certain arrangement or agreement, but in order to take this the next step, it would be nice to have an expert. So for any range of reasons, it's for financial reasons, or you're signing documents, or, if you are getting married, considering getting married, you were proposed to, or you are proposing, how would you want to handle your finances? And, sometimes it's great to have an expert kind of walk you through that. If you're going to buy a house together, if you're trying to figure out what to do with your kids' education, or, if you do want to take that vacation and you want to work through some of your savings, and, maybe the other party is like, no, we don't have the savings that you're thinking we do, and or the investment that you think we do, and you're surprised at that, and so you need somebody to kind of take another look at, what are all of the resources that you have available to you. This isn't typically money centric in what I'm seeing so far, but whenever you've got heavy emotions, resources and intimacy go hand in hand. So it's possible that there could be something financial that's impacting some of the reason why you all are coming into this kind of, it's not conflict necessarily, but just an intense debate about what to do next, what your next step should be, what the past really looked like, and what you want the future to bring. Hummingbird, lighten up. So, yeah, so bringing in an expert in some cases for this may just help you work through some of the concrete issues, and then you all can go back to enjoying each other, enjoying life, having some fun, enjoying the romance, or enjoying the family, or enjoying the business that you're in. It's funny enough, I was actually reminded of this the other day out on my patio. I got this message, and I'm getting it again with the hummingbird here. And it's that life is transitory and fleeting. And we can interpret events in a very solemn way and a very serious way. And I mean, they are. I mean, I don't think we're imagining that. I think, in a lot of cases they can be. But there's also times when it's not a big deal. So in some areas, maybe just take a look at, well, I really don't like that a lot, but I can live with it. Or I don't, and I'm not suggesting you, that you disregard, anything that you see or anything you're experiencing that's unacceptable, but just the everyday life, the everyday things that happen with 2-6 cards, again, speaking to your day-to-day operational, logistical, going about your business, try not to take that too seriously and look for ways where you can find more enjoyment, have a good time, even while you're working. We're all going to go through tragedy. We're all going to have loss, but give yourself some time to process that, and then let that transfer to an appreciation for joy and really trying to make every moment count. And then, when in doubt, go back to love. You've really got 3 cards that speak to love. You've got joy here. You can absolutely get some help, and you can take the time to make the decisions that are going to be right for you once you've had some rest, experienced a little bit of lightheartedness, taking some time out for yourself, or spending it with the person that nurtures you the most, or that you feel like needs nurturing by you, and that feeds your soul too. So this is a delicate balance, but I know you're up for it, and it's a subtle shift. It's not a major change for you, but the opportunity for you to get love in return tenfold from what you put out is huge right now. All right, so I hope that was valuable. If you would like a personal reading from me, please go to my website, angelawakening.net, and I will speak with you soon.